Welcome to the second season of Operational Harmony, balancing business and mental well being, where we achieve goals without sacrificing peace. Our host, Nikki, is the owner and founder of Nikki's Office, where she specializes in social media management, business audits, and business coaching. Her journey through mental health and entrepreneurship not only brings awareness, but also equips her with valuable coping skills. This unique experience offers a fresh perspective on approaching challenges and innovating in different ways. Let's introduce our guest.
Hi, my name's Emma Leivesley. I'm a wellbeing and burnout coach for healthcare professionals. I help stressed out doctors, nurses, and allied health professionals get work life balance and calm, live happier lives, and aim to end the stigma around suffering with stress and burnout in healthcare, and also to change the culture of healthcare so that stress and burnout is less likely to happen.
That's important in any field of business. But I'm guessing even more so because I don't want the dude operating on me to be like out of his brain with burnout because that would suck.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. People who work in healthcare have to make very serious decisions, and they're
Mhm.
doing that working under immense pressure and with not a lot of rest. So yeah, it's a big one.
So where do you start?
Basically, what I do with clients is I will have a chat with them first to make sure that I'm the right fit, because obviously you need to connect with the person that you're working with and just explore what they're struggling with at that moment. A lot of people working in healthcare struggle with guilt. That's a big one. So that could be feeling guilty for not spending time with the family. It could be feeling guilty because, hang on, I'm the doctor. I'm supposed to have all my stuff together. Why am I struggling? That's a big one as well. And I often say to people, nobody on the planet has all the stuff together. It's just a thing that we all do, going around pretending that everything's absolutely amazing when we're all struggling. Everyone struggles from time to time. So we'll have a chat around what's causing the stress, any specific triggers. This could be at work or home. I take a holistic approach because people aren't just the job, and we'll figure out what exactly it is that they want less of, what they want more of, but also look at work life balance and look at what areas in their life they want to address. So, is it they want to spend more time with the family? Is it that they quite simply just want to work less? And also look into their values. So, what do they value? Because if you're not working in alignment with your values, that is a big cause of burnout. So it's sometimes it can be a reminder of values that really help. Other times it can be, well, do you know what? I'm not doing enough of that side of the job. So we'll create a plan based on creating more of what they value in their life, and also reality checking what we can actually add to make things easier to cope with, and then look into strategies for coping and things like that. But a big one is boundary setting, which a lot of people in healthcare find very difficult. It's like, oh, can you just cover this shift at the weekend? Okay, yes, I will, even though they've been working all weekend without a gap. So, quite a lot of things, mindset issues as well. So, that you are allowed to prioritize yourself. You're looking after everybody else, but you need to be able to re-energize yourself. Otherwise, you're running on empty. So that's a big thing that I cover as well. Imposter syndrome. A lot of people struggle with that. So we kind of take a holistic approach and come up with a plan, and then I help them implement that plan.
Okay. Kind of talked about work-life balance with somebody yesterday in a
Mm.
previous one of these that was recorded recently. But if it's the right one, it didn't go over very well. But so what are your main tips? What is the one or two tips that you give pretty much everybody because they apply across the board?
What I would say is look at what your time thieves are. we all have time that's for us, even if it's not very long. Look at how you're spending that time. So, for example, if you're coming home from work absolutely exhausted and just sitting watching Netflix, not really taking in what you're watching, that's not really making good use of your time. Wherever you're being drained, and you have to protect your energy as well. So, are you taking on commitments and responsibilities that don't align with you? You're doing them because somebody else wants you to do them, and that's robbing your time as well. So, an example of that could be doing things for a relative they need help with such and such, but then they give if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. You're spending a lot of time with them. With myself, because I work in mental health, a lot of friends know that and then would ring going, "Oh, Emma, I really need to speak to you about such a thing." And I'm like, I've been speaking to people about this all day, about their mental health, and I am just totally tired. But I'd then go, okay, and then listen to all of that, and that would just completely exhaust me. And it feels you end up feeling resentment towards people. Whereas if I'd just have said, "Do you know what? I can't talk right now. I'll call you back whenever." That could have been quite helpful. So it is about really looking for those time thieves and protecting your energy. Do like filling your time that you've got off with doing things that you enjoy, because what a lot of people think is I haven't got the energy to do that. But if you at first it takes a lot of effort, but if you force yourself to do that thing that you actually want to do, it's gonna even if it's something you really enjoy, you're gonna resist. But once you start doing that, it actually gives you energy. So for example, I like boxing. So if I do boxing training, even though after work I might be like, really could do without this, I come out there buzzing, loads of energy, feeling really calm. So it's instead of sitting watching Netflix or scrolling on my phone, and
Mhm.
especially at the moment, you go on social media and it's right, okay, what can I do better with my time?
I have come to the conclusion that social media is a necessary evil for my business, but it is not
Yeah.
necessary for me to spend time on it outside of that.
I've had that revelation today. I've actually thought, do you know what? I do need to be on here for my business, but after that, I'm putting it down and I'm going to do something else.
I end up listening to Am I the Butthole posts and stuff like that while I'm working. I've got my music going and this Am I the Butthole? No, you're not. Yeah, I'm doing this thing over here. Yep, that's great. That's great. Okay, yeah. And it helps me concentrate on what I'm doing. It's a weird way to concentrate on what you're doing. Don't get me wrong. Having music and voices and working would overload a lot of people. But for me, it's just okay. Now I can zen into this because I absolutely cannot hear a thing happening in any other part of the house.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
otherwise, it's like, oh wait, that was a weird noise. Maybe I should go check that out.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's whatever works for you. Everyone's different. Some people need complete silence. I'm definitely not one of those people. Can't work in complete
Obviously
silence.
not. No, that kind of creeps me out because then I'm hearing the birds outside. There's some annoying frog that keeps going into a little pond that's right outside my window. And them things are the loudest things on the planet. I didn't know frogs could make that noise. It sounds like a bird.
Right.
And it's right under the window. So now you're getting driven. No, my music on and the people talking into my headphones, and I can't hear jack, which
Mm,
is the best thing for me.
yeah.
And then again, it's a noise I like, so I can actually listen to it.
Yeah, I think a lot of problems stem from social media as well. The comparison to other people.
Oh yeah.
Because I know when I used to do 12-hour night shifts on a weekend, I'd look at my phone before going to work and everyone would be like, going out to this party, look at me, my nice dress. And I'd be like resentful. And nobody puts the full truth of what's going on in their lives on there. It's all this polished version of what we
You're
think their life's like.
at your lowest moments, you're seeing somebody else's highlight reel, and it's
Yeah,
making you think that their life is so much better than yours. And
Yeah,
honestly,
definitely.
they have at least some of the same problems you do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have gotten over that because I'm like,
Mm,
so they have those videos where like this woman is going, yeah, I did this whole thing and there were no dishes afterwards. Yes, because I worked in a kitchen. I know you still used 100,000 dishes. You just washed them as you were going, which
yeah.
some people totally cannot do because it messes with the timing of things. I struggle with that. And I mean, whatever. It doesn't mean that you can't cook or she's so much better of a cook than you because she has no dishes left after she's done cooking. No, it just means she spent the in between times because she knows the recipe, duh, doing, the dishes. For me, if I'm spending an hour and a half cooking, somebody else is doing them damn dishes. It ain't gonna be
Mm,
me.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
If I don't care if what I cooked took 10 minutes, I'm still not doing the dishes.
Yeah.
No, I cook, you do the dishes. You do
Mm.
the dish, you cook, I'll do the dishes. Like, we're not doing the same thing. Like, I'm not doing it all.
Well, and that's true, and that's another thing with work-life balance as well, making sure that you're sharing, if you're
Mhm.
living with somebody else, you're sharing the workload when it comes to tasks around the house.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
deserve just as much time with your kid as your partner does. You deserve to have just as good of a relationship with your kids as your partner does.
Yeah,
Which means
definitely.
you have to spend actual time with them and do actual things with them and
Mm.
actually talk to them.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a revelation for you.
Yeah, and I think sometimes blocking out time can be really helpful as well. And even if you're on shifts, obviously it'd be easier if you could go, right, okay, every Saturday afternoon we have a day where we like just do something together. But if that's not possible, okay, at least once a week. Like when I've got time off, we're gonna do whatever together. Can be something different every week. So a good rule that I go by is 2 hours, blocking off 2 hours. That's easy to fit into any busy schedule. And it's enough time for you to actually be able to be there in the moment because sometimes if you're very busy, it takes a while to adjust and to actually feel present there. So if you set aside the 2 hours, you can actually see the benefit. So that 2 hours a week is that you time to either spend with your family or do something just for you. And then if you can do more, great, but not everyone's got that luxury. And also, once you start doing that, it gives you the momentum to actually put yourself first and not just run yourself into the ground. Because what tends to happen is if you have time off, you become more productive and less stressed, and everything just seems to work. I remember a time when I was actually working full time and running my business. So I was working pretty much all the time. And we took my son to this water skiing weekend, and I took my notebook to take some notes. We're in the middle of nature. It was absolutely lovely. At first, I just sort of sat there and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm just going to enjoy being around this lake and watching my son water ski." And it was all very nice. Just having that time out, I ended up coming up with loads of ideas because my brain was free to actually think rather than just do, do, do. And I just felt so much more refreshed. And it was literally a weekend. And sometimes you just need that break, no matter if it's a couple of hours, a day, a weekend, whatever. And you just feel so much better afterwards. And the decision making thing as well, because you've cleared your mind, that just gets easier too. So it really is important to take that rest because if you don't, your body or your brain, one of the two, will work out, hang on, I'm not going any further. And it will stop you in your tracks and it won't be convenient and it'll take you time to recover. Whether that be burnout and just being mentally unable to work or developing physical health problems. So I was under a lot of stress once and I ended up in, we call it accident and emergency, it's your emergency room. Ended up in an emergency room with very, very, very high blood pressure. It was 198/139 and I had chest pain, which was radiating into my jaw, my left arm, my left hand had gone numb. I had really, really bad headache. It felt like my eyes were going to explode. All like my nostrils, I could feel all the capillaries in my nostrils feeling like they were going to explode. It was a horrible experience. And the nurse was like, "Whoa, right, that's very, very high. That's not good." With those symptoms, gave me literally a tub of antihypertensive medications. There were loads in there. She was like, "Don't worry, that's the right dose. Take them." And I did. And I had to have weeks off work with it because like I was at risk of a stroke or a heart attack. So you really do need to listen to those signs that you're stressed. I ignored the fact that I wasn't sleeping at all and that I hadn't untensed my jaw for some time. And they were the exact symptoms that I had when I suffered burnout 10 years ago. But I was like, no, no, plod on, carry on, even though I knew full well that this has happened before. And then that happened to me. So you really do have to take a break before your brain or your body go, no. So it's really important.
If you don't take the break, your body's going to make you.
Mhm.
And there's Murphy's Law, right? Anything that
Mhm.
can go wrong will go wrong at the worst possible moment.
Mhm.
Telling you, if you don't take the break, your body's going to make you right in the middle of the biggest deal of your life.
Yeah.
And it's not going to care. It's not going to care. It's like, I'm not doing this anymore. Screw off.
Mhm.
But two, there was a video that I don't know on one of the social medias because I scroll and I get all sorts of little videos. But one of them was like, if you've gotten here, relax your shoulders. They don't need to be at your ears. Unclench your jaw. Breathe deeply. Are you calm now? Now you can continue scrolling. And I'm like, okay, that was unnecessary to call me out like that, first of all, because like I just kind of but at the same time, those kinds of things, like getting slapped with that and like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I am doing that.
Mhm.
Helps you
Yeah.
see that even when you think you're relaxing, sometimes you're really not. And if
Mhm.
you're being
Yeah.
bombarded by social media, 99.999% of the time, you are not relaxing. You
No.
are being a prayer warrior or whatever warrior for whatever cause, or you're listening to somebody's fight. And while I can listen to the tea all day long and it doesn't affect me, other people get seriously affected by listening to the problem because it's scary for them.
Yeah.
I can listen to the problem. It ain't my problem. Sure, I can listen to that. It's not going to affect me none. But if it's my problem, I can't listen to it for more than 5 seconds because I'm going to get all types of heated again.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I can get
And
re-angry years later. It's funny as heck to some people. But like, you have to know you. You
yeah.
have to, and like I said in one of the podcasts recently, you have to listen to your body. If you're not listening to your body, then your body's going to act however it wants to, and you're not going to hear it until it's too late.
Yeah. Very true.
If you listen to your body and you go, huh, I might be a tad sketched out because like my muscles feel like I was in a fight today. I don't think I was actually in a physical fight. So maybe I should calm the crap down, you know?
Go outside and take a breather.
Touch grass. I don't know. People keep saying that. I am allergic to grass, so I'd rather not, but each his own.
Yeah, I've got terrible hay fever, but I do like being out in the countryside. That really helps.
I'm like literally allergic to grass. You know how people mow the lawn? It will
Yeah.
literally send me into a severe asthma attack.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like from blocks away. If I smell the slightest hint of grass being cut or whatever, yeah, no, it's a bad idea.
Mm, yeah.
This automatically gets full and I can't breathe.
Mm,
My lungs close down on me. It gets pretty bad.
I bet that's a bit of a nightmare in summer when everyone's
Oh
mowing the
yeah.
lawn.
Yeah, that's why I stay inside. Everybody's like, "Oh, go outside, take a walk, you'll enjoy it." No, because if
No, not if
I
you
go
can't breathe.
outside and anyone in a 3-mile range is cutting their grass, I'm gonna die. Well, not
Mm,
literally, but I'm gonna have an asthma attack. I might end up in the emergency room. if it gets bad enough. Like, it depends on the type of grass. The grass here in Arkansas is bad, but it's not as bad as the grass was in Maryland. The grass in Maryland literally sent me to the hospital more than once. How long have you been working for yourself? Do you still have a full-time job, or are you just working for yourself?
No, I just work for myself now. It was the end of November 2024, so literally I've been
Months ago.
self-employed for nearly 2 months now. So that's been a big adjustment. It's very strange because you're in charge of all of your time, and then you're like, right, okay, I'm the one that's gonna have to make decisions about what exactly I'm doing, which is a very strange thing to get your head round. And setting boundaries with yourself as well, because it's easy to get into the habit of, I'm just going to keep working all day and all night, and yep, just leave me, I'll carry on. So you need to be quite
Some
strict with that as well.
some people have one or the other problem. I have the problem where I'll keep working. I know I have a certain amount of things I have to do. I'm not putting anything off till tomorrow because I know I already hate my future self. I'm not going to like really make my future self believe that though. So, I make decisions and let future Nikki worry about it instead of like dealing with it sometimes. But when it comes to work, I tend to like knuckle down and be like, okay, I got to get this and this done before I can stop for the night. And then I stop for the night and I'm like, okay, I'm tired. Let's go to bed. I don't want to do anything else. And then I can't sleep. There's that big, nice problem to have. So it just is the thing. But then there's other people who are like, oh, well, I have 3 things to do today. I'll do them later. Maybe I'll do them tomorrow. I think I have 2 things to do tomorrow, so I can just move these 3 things over till tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're broke because you've not done what you were supposed to do, and all your clients deserted you.
Yeah.
Clients, customers, whatever you call them, they have, you're not doing anything for them, so why would they stay?
Yeah. So it is getting the balance between the two. One thing I tend to do is, right, okay, I've finished everything I need to do today. What's my task for tomorrow? I'll just have a look. And then it's like, oh, I could easily get that done, and that done, and that done. And
I know,
oh, I
I've learned
really
not
need
to
to
do that.
research this and this. Why? What? Like, I'll learn about such and such, and then end up on a research rabbit hole. And yeah.
Okay. Do you have any final thoughts on the...
Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with us. Before we dive into our next topic, I just want to take a quick moment to remind you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way, you'll always be the first to know when a new episode drops. And we want to hear from you. What topics are you most excited about? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps us create content that you love. We've got some exciting stuff coming your way, so don't miss out. Now, let's switch gears and jump into our next discussion.
mental health side?
I just think that if people are struggling, 1, take a break, but 2, open up to people and talk to people. Connection helps massively.
Okay. I believe that as well. Also, if you're in that much trouble, go to an emergency room. Don't do anything stupid. We do not do stupid stuff. At least not that severely stupid. Like, I do stupid stuff every day, but not that severely. So none of that. If you need to, go to an emergency room. They will help you. Okay. So we're going to switch topics and go for the business side of things. And I think I have picked a topic that both of us can talk about really well. Because I'm talking about the actual starting of a business, your own business. You no longer want to work for somebody else. You're like, corporate is not for me anymore. I want to do it by myself. Well, what skills do you have? What makes you unique out of all the 50 billion people who have a business? So for me, my business is Nikki's Office. I do social media, business audits. I also am an office manager for some companies. So I wear many hats and kind of fill the role that, the person I'm working with needs me to. I say working with because I'm not working for them. I'm working for myself, but I'm doing things for them. So I say I work with them because it takes both of us to get where they're trying to go. Because it's not one-sided. It's not them always telling me what to do. Because some days I get to be the one that wears the hat that says, haha, you have to listen to me. It's a very dangerous place for you to be. Your business is
Coaching.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. So, so for me, there are not any, at least in the US, there's not any licenses or anything that I have to have for doing office work on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely no extra licenses or anything else that I need.
Mm-hmm.
You can, in some areas of the US, need to have a small business license. I don't need that either, where I'm at or where I have been. So I've been in Maryland, Texas, and Arkansas. None of those places require that you have a license of any kind or like a small business license in order to work from home. You need that. It's usually not that hard to fill out the paperwork. Always check with your local laws because I don't know them. I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to be. I don't care enough to be because I'm not memorizing all that. You know, no.
Yeah, there's no way you'd be able to memorize that for everywhere.
No. So you go figure out your laws in your area. But one of the things that you can do is take stock of all your talent. Do you like to draw? Great. You can do social media images for people. You can create avatars for people. There's lots of stuff as an artist that you can do to make money. Papers that have like unique designs on them. So that office has that paper when they go to write letters to people. All sorts of stuff. If you're more tech savvy, again, you have a lot of things you can do. Now, I am tech savvy in a different way than a lot of people. I can walk into programs and kind of know what I'm doing. I can't code. That's a whole nother language, and screw that. I can't do that. I've tried to learn coding, and I get kind of into it at the beginning, and then you get like 3 lessons in, and I'm like, yep, this turned into French, and I can't speak French. I took 2 years of French. Can't speak none of it. So, no, not doing that again. So if you can code, you can do a lot if you can code. There are plenty of places that need that type of skill set and will take you on as a consultant or whatever they want to call that kind of a role. So that you're working for yourself, but you're coding for somebody else and you're making bank. Because you can make way more doing it that way in some cases than you can if you actually work for the company as an employee. And you get like your protected days off and stuff. So sometimes that's the best way to go about it. Do you know a whole lot of people? Maybe you want to go into what your connections can help you do. Some people go be a realtor. I mean, that does take a license. You have to take a test to get your realtor's license. But if you have a huge network of people that know you and can recommend people to you, that's an easy thing to go into. Not saying that somebody spending hundreds of thousands of dollars is easy. But if you know tons of people, that's maybe something you could do. But there's plenty of different ideas to help you along. Once you get to a place where you're like, okay, this is what I want to do for my business. Do not quit your business. Do not quit your work as soon as you're like, I have an idea.
No, don't do that.
Because that is what we call stupid. Because you're not earning anything yet with that. And you'll have costs. I have costs. I have to pay for AI. I have to pay for this. I have to pay for that. Right? And Canva, that doesn't cost much, but I still have to pay for it. If you're somebody who can use Photoshop, there's a whole world that can open doors for you. cannot get my mind to wrap around Photoshop. There are too many buttons. But there's all sorts of things out there for you to do if you have skill sets. Now, if you are somebody who doesn't know anything about computers, has no idea, like barely how to use one, but you know how to get on there and go to YouTube and stuff like that, then I would say that working for yourself might be more difficult. Might not be the road you want to go down, because there's no IT support when you work for yourself.
No.
Unless you have a friend, and that friend might get sick and tired of answering your questions after the 100th phone call, okay? Us IT people have all the patience in the world until you've asked how to copy and paste for the 50th time, because that's not all that difficult. So remember, when you're going to start a business, that you have to start with what you know, and you have to have the money for that. So if you're somebody who is like, well, I'm broke and I'm working 80 hours a week. First of all, I'm very sorry that you're working 80 hours a week. That seems like an awful lot of time. First of all, you have to figure out what you have time to do while doing your full-time job, because it's going to take a while for that job to match the income that your 80 hours a month or a week are earning. So you don't want to quit right away. You want to wait until you have the money that matches your current income. Now, there is a caveat to that. If you are somebody who is at home all the time because of an illness, whether it's mental health or physical, and you think that starting a business will help you, one, make sure that you can handle doing it. Because first of all, your mental health is something you should guard. Not in the way that it's, oh, well, I'm never going into Walmart again because, there's too many people. But in a way that is, I have to respect what I can and cannot do. If your depression makes you unable to do anything for days at a time, you want to be careful about what the business you're setting yourself up for is going to require of you. Because if it requires at least 5 hours a day, every single day, and you can't do that, then you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's only going to make the depression worse when it happens.
Yeah.
I am one of those people where depression means that I have to be busy. Because if I go curl up in that nice warm bed over there, then I'm going to go to that dark place in my brain. I'm going to go into the void, and that's not going to be healthy for me. And I'm going to be in a bad spot again. I don't want to be there. So for me, working, helping people is how I stay out of the void and keep trucking. Again, it's knowing yourself. You have to know yourself, listen to your body as you're doing these things to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure. Especially if you have a mental health illness and you fail, you're only going to make yourself feel worse.
Yeah.
I have days where somebody calls me and is like, well, I can't justify the expense because I only talk to you once a week. Okay, you might talk to me once a week, but I'm doing things behind the scenes for your business that I'm doing, but you think only take me 2 seconds. I mean, look, I can put together things, right? Newsletters and stuff like that in a pretty quick pace because I know what I'm doing. You're paying for my experience, not the time it takes me to do something.
Yeah.
You're charged by the time it takes me to do something, or I'd make $5 a shot, right? Because I've learned to be quicker with it. Other people, maybe you don't charge what it takes every hour because you take a really long time to get something done. And I'm not saying crafting wise, because if you can sew or crochet or knit, those projects should cost a bit more than something else. Those things take energy and time and skill that not everybody has, especially nowadays, to be able to do anything with.
And the materials as well.
Yeah. Yeah, your materials. And you can't just say, well, I only spent $10 on fabric. Okay, but you spent a couple dollars on thread, you spent a couple dollars on the buttons, you spent a couple dollars on the zipper. So those parts add up. And then if minimum wage in most places nowadays is $15, and you just did minimum wage for every hour that it took you to get done with your project, saying you're an average speed sewer or cross stitcher or whatever, right? Then that might be pretty good money. Now, if you do that same thing, let's say, oh, this project where I made this dragon, with crocheting, it looks really cool. It's really intricate. I'm really fast at crocheting, so this only took me 3 hours, but so I can only charge you $45 for that. No, you up your price because you're quicker at it.
Yeah.
You up your price because it may only take you 3 hours, but how much time does it take the average person to do it? And those are the hours you charge. So there's all sorts of different things you can do.
Yeah, it depends on the level of skill as well, because
Mhm.
if you have two of the dragons side by side, one of them's really well done, and the other one, like which one are you going to pay more money for?
Yeah, exactly. So, and it depends on, especially in that kind of situation where you're making a dragon out of crochet, you have to be able to multiply that. You have to make more than one thing look similar. Not one raggedy, one great, one poor, one good, one, because you're going to be making them over and over again.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be like, oh, I love how great this dragon looks. And crocheting, especially crocheting and knitting, you can't do those with machines.
Yeah.
So you can't make a dragon with crocheting yarn and make it look good with a machine. That's all personal. You deserve to make the money for the skill set to make. I would love somebody to make a dragon. That looks so cool.
Yeah.
I'd like a dragon.
I think if somebody watching this does crochet, they should make us both a dragon.
That would be awesome. But again, you have to listen to yourself. You have to listen to what you are, who you are. So if you're a very honorable person, your job isn't going to be telling old ladies to give you game cards, right? Because that's not exactly truthful. That's scamming and illegal. So, like, I'm not saying anybody ever should be doing that. So, let's not be doing scamming. But you want to make sure that whatever you're doing is legal, ethical, and isn't hurting anyone. Make the world a better place. Oh, God. Did I really just quote Michael Jackson? Oh, that's not a thing. Anyway. Sorry. Like, for me, everybody I help, every time I help someone, I'm making somebody else's life a little bit easier. And that, for me, is the reason why I do things. I hate money. Easy to say that sometimes, but, like, I hate having to deal with, okay, this has to be paid, this has to be paid. We have to do this, that, and the other thing, all with money. I hate all that. I absolutely hate it. My brain goes foggy. I have anxiety with it. It's a thing. So I have help with all that. That's not a big deal for me. But again, if you're like me and doing all of that makes your head go foggy and you like can't handle it, have somebody who can help you, whether they're paid or not. Have somebody who's helping you with that. Make sure they're trustworthy, because if they're that far into your business, that might be a problem if they're not trustworthy. But owning your own business, having your own business, while it's not difficult, you want to be sure that what you're doing is setting you up for success. You want to make sure it's actually something that can make you money before you drop the full-time job.
Yeah.
Or even part-time job. Whatever time job. The thing that is making you money right now. Now, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're going to have time on, I don't know any, maybe all 3 of your kids are in school, but you're still a stay-at-home mom, right? Maybe you want to have something that you do. Maybe you hem kids' pants and that's the thing that you enjoy doing the most. Do it. Do what you can do in your space at your pace.
Yeah, and I think if it's something that you enjoy as well, though, that's the important thing. Because if you're doing something that you don't like doing, that's not a very nice way to live. And you may as well just go and work for somebody else doing something that you don't want to do. Whereas if you
Mm-hmm.
can do something that you enjoy, it's not like a job. It's a life.
Mm-hmm. You can put gates up to control how fast or slow you're growing. Usually those gates aren't really in your control, but if you learn what you're doing and you know what you're doing so well, so like say you're an Etsy person, maybe you crochet those dragons. Maybe you turn your site, your page on for 3 months and get all the orders in and then close it again and make all of those orders. And once they're all out again, you do the same thing. You open it up for a certain amount of time, get a whole bunch of orders in. You can hype that crap up. Temporary opening will be up for 30 days. Come order what you want now type deal. And then once you've gotten all the orders you can handle for the next 6 to 10 months, then you close it down and start working on everything again. You can put gates in so that you have what you can handle. Now, looking at that list of people that want things, you're obviously at the beginning going to be like, holy crap, there's a whole lot of stuff to do. I don't know what to do. No, too much. Again, you take it project by project. Maybe you sort them out into, okay, these are the bigger projects and when they're due, and these are the little projects when they're due. And maybe after every big project, you do 2 little ones or something like that. You make it work so that you're filling in time for yourself and you're not making it such a big thing.
Yeah.
Also, having the lead time on these purchases could take anywhere from 6 months to 10 months in order for them to get to you. Sorry for the delay. I actually have to make them.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe you make them ahead of time. Maybe that's what the break is. You make so many big ones, you make so many little ones, you make so many keychains, whatever, and then you open up the store to sell all of those things. You restock the store, open it, sell them all, and then shut down the site again, and then you go make what you want to make. Or maybe you take custom orders from people on Instagram or whatever. I have no idea what any of that stuff is because that's not what I do. But I get a wood case for every phone I have. See? I like my wood cases. They usually come from like Norway or something. They look awesome. They protect my phone. I'm not somebody who like scratches the screen or anything. So I don't need some big plastic thing that's meant to stop a falling phone from the Empire State Building from cracking. Because I'm not doing that to my phones. They're usually right here on my desk or they're in my purse while I'm out and about. But some people do need the big safety feature things because they work on roofs. So an OtterBox is the only kind of case they can have. Because those things can take a beating from falling off of a roof.
Yeah.
I work with a couple roofers where that's all they can do. That's the other thing. Maybe you're really good at construction, but you're working for somebody else, and on their crew, you're only making a certain amount of money. You can go in and work for yourself. Do you know how many handyman are needed in different areas? Like if you could go and install a new doorknob or fix a stuck door or any of those handyman type things, you can get, at least in Tennessee, a home improvement license that says you're not going to charge anybody over $25,000 and go repair people's places. Like that's so needed. I know one handyman in the central area of Nashville where my roofers are, when sometimes the person just needs a new doorknob and my roofers don't do doors.
No.
It's not their thing. But you can't call anybody nowadays to go get a doorknob fixed or unstick a window. So maybe you have those kind of skills, become a handyman. again, that does require a license in Central Tennessee. The license itself doesn't cost any money. Or actually, I don't think so. Not the home improvement one. At the very most, it's like $150. So even if you do have to invest, I don't think it's very much. Now, getting a contractor's license is more. At least, again, I work with roofers in the Nashville area, so that's where I know. But that's more expensive, and it costs testing, and you have to know a whole lot about a whole lot. So maybe you don't have the skill for that, but you can do the smaller license and just go fix people's small problems. Little old ladies don't know how to get a window unstuck.
Yeah.
They don't know how to change the faucet when it's leaking
Mm.
with a constantly running toilet. And if that's something you could do it, figure out a way. You can make money doing that. Maybe you charge $200 and you're like, okay, for an hour, you have me for an hour. What exactly do you need done? And then you go around the house and you fix all those little things. So there's all sorts of different things you can do. But again, don't quit your job, whatever that may be, until you're making at least equal the money. Usually you want to make a little bit more than what you're currently making at your job so that you can transition easy.
Yeah, and as well, it's making sure it's consistent. So if you've done something and you've gone, oh, I've earned loads there, but you've got no way of replicating it, you need to rethink about that.
Yeah, it does need to be replicatable. That's why I was saying, like, handyman or crocheting or like, if you can type, there are all sorts of businesses out there that will let you be their VA. Virtual assistant, for those who don't know what a VA is. I get, oh, you're a VA. No, I'm not a VA. I'm not one. No. But it depends on where your skill set is and how much you can do. So let's say you can type, but you're somebody who has mental health problems, so you can't be on everything 100% of the time. Well, some of those places will hire you to work so many hours a month, and if you spread that out, your customer is going to be happier that you've spread it out than if you did it all in one day and then they can't talk to you until the beginning of the next month.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem for you to have an off day and not be able to. Yeah, I think we did good. Do you have any final thoughts?
I just think, yeah, people should follow what makes them happy. So, yeah.
I think it's a combination of what makes you happy and what you can, like, so I can cross stitch, I can crochet, I can knit, but I'm also one of those people who has problems finishing projects. It would be very bad for me to go putting my services on eBay or eBay. Who goes to eBay anymore? On any of those kind of sites where you're selling those things, because I may or may not decide to finish that project.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you're like that, maybe get the goo to actually finish projects before you start taking money for them, because you're only going to set yourself up for failure if you've taken all this money and you've got projects that are like 20% done, 50% done, because you can't finish them. I get a block in my head sometimes and I just can't get past it. Not only that, but make sure it's replicatable. So if you're crocheting and stuff, that is certainly replicatable. But maybe if you're somebody who can, I don't know of a thing, you have a very niche within a niche within a niche thing that is only going to apply to 5 people in the entire world, maybe you should take yourself out of the niche thing. So let's broaden that out a bit. I'm not saying you have to be as broad as me, where one of my people can come to me about pretty much anything and I can help them fix it. But you should probably not only be able to help 5 people.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to become aware to those 5 people And why would they want to go to you when they've probably already got somebody else doing it?
Yeah. And once you've done it, then
Do they
that's it.
need it more than once? Like 5 people needing something one time is not a business.
No.
So, okay. So if you're going to make a business and you need help or you want to talk it through with somebody, you can go to my website, nikkisoffice.com, and schedule some time with me, and I would be glad to talk with people.